Evening, guys. God, this show is taking the piss. It doesn't respect our time, does it? I've seen cement go faster than this show. Ah, I mean, where do I start? Where it's not the same rant I had last week. Dear God, the pacing. Nothing happens. I mean, what is going off, guys? It's bad. The show's not going anywhere. And you're looking at like the rise of power of Hitler and the Nazis in Germany, 1937, 1938. This should be super, super interesting. And it's not. The writing is so contrived. And Jesus, talk about an ending that doesn't really respect what it's doing. The show's been so slow, and now we're giving Tommy this death ticking time bomb, and we've got 2 episodes to go. You're putting in a bloody ticking time bomb, and you haven't gone anywhere in 4 episodes. Where is this going? Are we just gonna get like the same thing that we got in season 4 and 5, where he tells Winston Churchill some information and it comes to his own advantage, but in this universe he dies? We've seen this. There's nothing new to see here. And the Polly replacement in Christ, I can't even remember her name. She was that memorable. Esme. There we go. Esme. Yeah, we got a switcheroo here. Dun dun dun. You have a secret love, baby. Isn't this so interesting, everybody? Am I watching Emmerdale? What is this? What is this shit? This is supposed to be premium, primetime, must-see TV. And Christ, I'm watching Coronation Street. I'm so annoyed. I'm so annoyed. The choices that are being made are baffling. There's no real commitment to a story. All the sub-characters are now just personality vacuums, apart from Arthur and the guy and the 2 women who play Mosley's Dinah Mosley and Anna Taylor-Joy, who plays Michael's wife. They're the only 2 characters other than Kieran Murphy who've got any personality and any presence to actually give him something to act with. Sorry, I'm probably being a bit harsh there. We saw flashes of what Kieran and Paul Anderson can do in that one scene in the cellar. And I've been asking for that all series. All series I've been asking for more Paul Anderson. You know, don't just make him this sort of cut off and cut away that's not useful. Because in that little 5-minute section, you saw exactly what made this show special. The chemistry between those 2 was amazing. Same with him and Joe Cole and Ada. Ada needed to be given a bigger role. She's not quite up to Helen McClory levels of acting, but at least she's got some screen presence, and I'm half interested when she turns up. You know, the little speech, the anti-racism speech with the son, really nicely crafted, really well done, because you can see that those were potential conversations that were happening at the time. Because, you know, make no mistakes, fascism was popular in this country. It was a genuine debate once upon a time, and eugenics was a thing. You know, we can all talk about how flawed and evil eugenics was, but you know, it was a genuine discussion being had in this country, and I think the way it dealt with it was actually quite subtle and grown up. But everything else, just, it's so soap opera. And I get it, it's the last sort of season, and there may be a movie. I hope to hell there isn't, because if this is anything to show, they can't stick a landing, and they certainly can't here. Because we're 4 episodes into a 6 episode order, and I have no idea what the actual story is. There's so many threads, and they're pulling at some interesting ones, but not really. And then we're not quite sure where everything's going, and it's not really a coherent plot. This is where this series has gone wrong, right? There's no main antagonist. There's no formidable character or organisation or plot device for Tommy to rile against. So all this internal anger, and you can look at internalisation of people who've done bad things and people who have got limited time to live as they look at their own mortality and all this other stuff. You can look at all that, but that shouldn't be the main focus of the show. The genius of it is you had a antagonist and a supporting cast that drove your story forward. Every single series, it was established. Episode 1, here's you, or at least by the first 15 minutes of episode 2, here's your antagonist. This is what we're going up against all series. You might not know what they're going to do. You might not know what twists and turns are going to come from it and how it's going to affect all these characters. But here's our direction. Here's where we're going. There's none of that. There's just this weird, meandering sort of... It seems to have lost its identity and its purpose. That's its problem. These stories that don't seem to be going anywhere, we're just sort of going, we're making historical references without any actual meaning or impact. And it's such a shame, because the actual source material that they're using should work itself well to a well-crafted, nuanced, well, not nuanced, but at least a compelling narrative. You've got so many things at play there with the Americans, and you know, everyone forgets the Americans didn't join the war till late on. You know, they wanted to see how things panned out. It was only when Japan bombed Pearl Harbor and they actually felt under attack themselves that they joined. And they're sort of playing with that with this Jack character. But it's not... The actor himself is, you know, you might as well put a piece of soap there and ask Kieran to act next to it. I mean, to be honest, for most of this, I looked at it and thought, him smashing up his gun against that tree was better character work than most of the characters in this series so far. He could literally just be in an empty room and do better stuff. I mean, Lizzie, I am going to be disrespectful to the actress that plays Lizzie. There's nothing there. when she emotes these intense feelings of grief and heartbreak, it just comes across as, the stuff you've taught in student theatre regarding emoting, and it's all over exaggerated and soapy. And that's all I kept thinking all the way through this. It's like, am I watching Peaky Blinders or am I watching Coronation Street? The production values are better, granted. The choice of music and visuals and the way the actual stuff is put together from a technical standpoint is gorgeous. And you do see that, but the actual story and the direction and the tightness and the script editing. I mean, I can go watch any soap and find writing like this. The differences with soap writing is they've got to do like a full year's worth, and this has only got 6 episodes. So how dare they pump out this drivel when they know they haven't got the time and they've got such a limited spell to tell a story? And it's such a waste, because this is going to go down as bad as a Game of Thrones. It is. People are going to look at this and go, it was fantastic, right up to the last series, where it just completely shit the bed. And it's shitting the bed. I don't know. Obviously, there's been restrictions regarding COVID, and obviously the tragic loss of Helen McClory changed a lot of what I think would have been in there. But this is the weird thing as well. The bits where they've used some of her previous footage or her vocal performance, it's contributed really well to the story. Tommy having this sort of conversation with Polly through his own grief, and sort of as he thinks he's coming towards the end, he feels that he can speak more and more to her. That's been really well done. Then why the hell can't you do that with any other of these characters? Because these haven't been bad characters throughout the early series. I do think they miss the brothers. Not having Joe Cole there as another strong male counterpoint for Tommy to interact with, as well as Arthur. I think it hurts it, definitely. Because the chemistry of those 3 men made it work. And Polly as well. And it's just missing that. And because of the absolute destruction of Arthur Shelby as a viable threat, an emotional weight, an anchor, a story anchor throughout this series, it's been destroyed with this addiction storyline. Now, I'm not trying to underplay addiction here. I just think it could have been written better. I understand perfectly that addiction can be crippling and alter somebody, and they can be lost for vast amounts of time because of it. But to do that to a key character and to a fantastic actor, and to reduce his body of work to this weird, mumbling, crawling around on the floor, sort of animalistic performance, is probably one of the biggest examples of character assassination I've seen in quite some time. I mean, Christ, at this point, Sean Bean him. I think that would even be a better thing to do at the minute. Just Sean Bean him. And if anyone doesn't get that reference, Sean Bean dies and everything. But it's usually in the first episode or first series, so we're probably leaving it a bit late. But, I wanted this to be so good. I wanted it to be this swaggering, cavalier program that it shows in its art style and in its musicality. It's got all the swagger in the world, but the story used to have swagger. You used to actually care about what happened to these characters. I think the highlight for me was it would have been season 4 with Adrian Brody, where he actually felt like a real threat. And you thought it would have massive implications on the family. I don't feel that with this. I just think we're going through the motions and trying to make some postmodernistic reference and critique of Nazism. And there seems to be this thing in modern writing that everything is Nazism. That everything is, if you don't agree with people politically, then you must be far right, or you must be, there must be something wrong with you. And I think that's far too broader brush. This dismissal of everyone for having a slightly different opinion as being far right is misplaced and dangerous. But it's like you can't even make a decent story and a decent cautionary tale out of one of the most horrific events in human history, because you're not looking at the subject matter, in my eyes, with enough gravity. It's just a background noise. It's something to point out to the audience that boo, hiss, people evil because, look, swastika. No. It was far more subtle, it was far more deadly, and far more serious than this is even pretending that it is. And now I'm starting to feel sorry for Kieran Murphy, because he hasn't got anything. I mean, Christ, he's acting his socks off to nothing. I mean, he's acting to chairs and trees and bits of office furniture. I'm half expecting him to throw a bottle at some point. Maybe pick up a car. Throw some tyres around. Get on a horse and go galloping really madly because horses. This is what happens when you don't have a direction, when you've got a creator who hasn't clearly set out his boundaries and his storytelling arcs for his season. Right, we're going to start here. This is how we're going to develop right into the midpoint, and this is how we get out. It's the same sort of problem a lot of series have had, a lot of films have had. Star Wars had the exact same problem. Well, the Disney trilogy did. Of they didn't have a broad outline of how they wanted to tell their story. So guess what? Their story sucked. And this story sucks. The only saving grace in all of this is that they've got a fantastic cast in some key roles who can act their socks off. The rest of it is just blank space. Nobody cares. I look for characters and story to draw me in. and none of that supporting cast do that. Lizzie especially. Lizzie gets on my nerves at this point. I wish they'd have done more with Ada, but it's probably a little bit too late. Fake Polly and Esme's doing my nutting. I'd even have Michael back with his little tash, just to give me some entertainment. Tommy, I'm coming to get you with my twirly tash, and I will stab you in the heart. Good. Because I know why he hates Tommy. And I know why he'd be coming after him. There's some fundamental issues in the storytelling. I don't know what any of these characters want. I don't know where they're going. All I know is that they're trying to make some World War II critiques, which these writers aren't clever enough to pull off effectively. And I'm not here for the Tommy's dying thing, because I've heard too many rumours about this movie and it looks like it's got legs. But at this point, I'd want them to kill him. I'd want them to kill him to put an end to it, because I can't see this creative team being able to put a film together that's 2.5 hours long, and stick to it and give me something that's going to captivate me from frame A to frame 1,000,007. They've not been able to captivate me for more than 20 minutes so far in this whole series. So the wonderful thing about having a series is you get to do long form storytelling. You can build a character, a world, a mythos around your main protagonists and their families or connections, and have all these different subplots. It allows you to do that. In film, it has to be so much tighter. You need to be able to get from A to B to C, and you either bait for another sequel, or you finish your story there. And it's just a case of it doesn't know how to finish. Doesn't know how to finish whatsoever. And it's a real shame, because there are some brilliant people involved with this. But it's turning into Taboo. Now, if you guys haven't seen Taboo, it's on Netflix, starring Tom Hardy. Same creative team. And it was produced by Tom Hardy. I liked it personally. I thought it was quite clever. But all of the bad habits and the indulgences that have sort of crept into this series are there. So if you want to see where all this has stemmed from, watch that series. It'll tell you exactly. There's just I'm so disappointed at this point. I mean, I'm reviewing it because I like interacting with you guys, and we're going to be talking about some other stuff down the line. I'm looking at doing speaking of Game of Thrones earlier, a Game of Thrones Rise and Fall series, and possibly looking at comparisons with the books. If you guys would like to see that, comment in the comment section, give us a like, give us a share anyway. As much interaction as I can get with you guys, I can then draw up ideas for ongoing series. I'm looking to get some people on board to help with conversation. Well, not help with conversations, but give some more viewpoints for us to sort of interact with each other, and then you guys interact with us, and see how that format goes as well. So watch out for all this stuff. The gaming side of it should be coming up in the next couple of months. I'm just waiting for the final setup of my office before we start doing that, and I'll start playing new games and stuff, so you can go, haha, you criticise all these films and movies, but you can't play a video game, you fool. Yes, internet, yes, I know, but slow hands and stuff. But I don't know. To be fair, I don't know what I'm watching, So it's hard for me to critique it because I can't see where it's going other than round and round in a circle. So the review seems to go round and around in a circle. I'm having the same complaints every week. So having to hammer home the same thing every week. What do I want to see for the next couple of episodes? Give me some more Ada. Anything with Anya Taylor-Joy, I'm happy to have. And just for funsies, let's have Michael twirl his tash and tie somebody to a train track so we can go, no, Michael, no! Don't do it, don't hurt the children! Just so I could laugh at it in a maniacal, oh my god, what heresy is this sort of way? Because this is how I'm having to view this show at the minute. It's like, oh god, what's this? I don't want to watch this. I might as well scroll Twitter. And yes, I'm moaning, yes, I'm ranting, but it's because I want the show to be good. No one reviews this stuff and goes, haha, I'm glad this sucks because I get to be angry about it. I mean, Christ, that's going to be the Kenobi reviews as well. If anyone watched Boba Fett, you'll know what I'm talking about. But I don't want these things to fail. I love these shows. I love Star Wars. I loved Game of Thrones. I love Peaky Blinders. I don't want them to be bad. But if they're bad, I'm going to point it out because we as an audience deserve better than to be treated like children and given these rudimentary, really basic storytelling that bashes you over the head without any sort of... There's nothing that makes you think. About 10 years ago, we had really compelling cinema where there were twists and there were plot twists and there were bits of nuance to storytelling that really made you think. Nothing was clear cut. Nothing was easily defined as good versus evil. And I think this is something to do with superhero films. Because people have got so used to that sort of comic book format of this is your villain, this is your hero. It's bled into other forms of media where stories used to be more complex and more interesting for us as viewers. It seems to be, right, let's break it down to its real fundamentals. Tell a story in the simplest of terms with the least amount of creativity possible. And if I was an actor with some of the skills that some of this cast have, I would be absolutely climbing the walls because it doesn't say anything. And that's the issue. It doesn't say anything to its audience as a larger social commentary. It just gives you nothing. And writing used to be cleverer than that. It used to be, well, to be fair, it used to be more about lived experiences, and I just don't think that's fair anymore. I don't think there's enough people with lived experiences and empathy, to be honest with you. Empathy is the key. There's a lack of empathy in modern story writing that makes it quite rudimentary and one and two dimensional. It's just not. It's not going to grab you as a person because you are not one and two dimensionally. You are a fully complex, emotional human being, and your palate craves something that is greater than that, has a greater understanding of hard choices, of reasons for making certain choices, even though they're not easy. I think the human experience does that for us, and to have this real lowbrow, lowest common denominator, crass writing, is an insult to its audience, and it's an insult to us who take the time to watch it every week, and then, if you're like me, review it every week. And you know, I just wish there was more. I wish I could be happy about this and sing its praises about what a fine piece of art this is, how wonderfully balanced and surprising it is. You know, and it's, you know, Doctor Who used to be like this, and that's gone now unless Russell T Davies fixes everything. And just all these big sort of franchises or series that have built a steady audience. Where's that sort of storytelling gone? Why are we left with this sort of bland, colourless style of interacting? It's so frustrating. And the remedy at the minute seems to be, let's put big name actor in here. You know, last week, let's have Stephen Graham. Why? He was in there for 5 minutes, didn't really do anything. He didn't really advance out the story, and then he went. Stephen Graham's a fantastic actor. You've wasted his time. You've wasted our time and our expectation as an audience by having him there kicking a football around. It annoys me. It used to be elegant. Storytelling used to be about, let's try and tell a human story with the extraordinary situations. How would a human react in this extraordinary world? And let's be honest, Nazi Germany and the Second World War is a horrifying experience, but an extraordinary one. People will never live through an experience, hoping people will never live through an experience like that one ever again. So the basis is interesting. The execution's awful. And it just is the basis and the presence and the general collectiveness of the show deserved better than this. It really did. I'm going to leave it there this week, guys, since I've been everyone's favourite little ray of sunshine. Yay! I'm looking at getting some more series off the ground. I've mentioned the Game of Thrones streams that I might be looking at. I might do a Star Wars review, sort of the films, with Kenobi coming up, and maybe Lord of the Rings. I'm not really a strong enough book fan to probably do that one justice, so I might leave it alone and just look at the Rings of Power on Amazon when it comes out. But anyway, guys, please like and share and subscribe to the streams. Interacting with you guys every week has been brilliant. We're growing every week. It's a really good and nice positive vibe, and I'm loving sort of speaking to you guys. So let's keep that going. Let's keep the wobbly army nice and active. Like I said last week, we have got some merch. I'm in the middle of talking to a supplier about getting some on a storefront for you guys to buy, sort of t-shirts, hoodies, all that sort of thing, with the logo and a few other ideas that I might have. So if you do want one of these, give me a shout out, and I'll see if I can get the supplier to get a few made for us and go forward with that. So that's great, and I'd like to thank our supplier on this one. It's Carl Smart Apparel. He very nicely donated this to us to help start us advertising, so I really wanted to appreciate that and shout him out. Thanks, Carl, for that. and we'll try and get some more sold. Uh, you know, as I said, we're looking at ideas in terms of gaming. I'll probably look at going on to Twitch and sort of going through new releases and giving them reviews as we go. Uh, and generally we're going to go through this sort of review process and all sorts of bits and pieces, and I'm going to try and craft the content what you guys seem to enjoy. So keep interacting with us, keep feeding back to me so I can sort of make this content more in line with what you guys want to watch. But yeah, it's been a fantastic time this week, guys. I would say sorry for the rant, but you're probably here for that as well. So hope you've enjoyed it this week, guys. Wobbly Geek out. See you next week.